Hi everyone, it's another edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. A lot of you have been watching this video for a few years now, not this specific video, but Weather for Weather Geeks for a few years now. Some of you may be a little newer to this. If you're newer, this is my daily video where I take a real deep dive into the weather. I show you the kind of stuff I never have time to show on TV, where I'm limited to 2.5 or 3 minutes. And especially when the weather gets busy and active and there's a lot to talk about, this is kind of my outlet to get all the information out there that I want to get out that, again, I don't have time for on TV. Thankfully, we're in the middle of a pretty quiet weather pattern right now, so this video will be fairly brief. 85 was our high today, 83 the forecast, so we were within 2. So we get a check mark. We've only had one miss this month. That was on Saturday. We were off by 3, and our accuracy for 2016 at 80%. For the daytime highs for the following day. All right, today's high of 85 nudged us up a little bit. We're up to 69.3 for the average temperature for the month. That's not the average highs. It's average highs and lows together. That can be a deceiving number if you think it's just the highs. No, it's the highs and the lows. But nonetheless, we're in third place now on the list of warmest Septembers. If the month ended today, it'd be the third warmest on record. I do think we've got a chance at getting to the number one spot with the warm weather coming. Now, it is going to cool off at the very end of the month, but we're going to be awfully close to that number one spot, set back in 1931. 85, the high locally today, up in Cleveland, same number, 86 in Pittsburgh this afternoon. Our average high on this date, 71 degrees. Doesn't that sound cool? Like 71 is just average, but that sounds like a cool day because we're just used to this midsummer warmth now. A couple of trouble spots across the country briefly this evening. Kind of interesting feature down here. Some moisture coming into Southern California, parts of Arizona. This is good news for them. They really need the rain, of course, out there. This used to be a tropical system. It is now just a regular low-pressure system over the Outer Banks of North Carolina, providing some damp weather. Norfolk, Virginia Beach. Ooh, anybody vacationing at Virginia Beach is not happy with the weather over the last 12 to 24 hours. Now, this morning, as promised, the fog was shallow and it was patchy. It wasn't as big of a thing as it was yesterday morning. I think tomorrow morning it'll be even patchier, but still, especially in the low-lying areas, there could be some fairly shallow fog for a while at the start of the day, but it'll go away quickly, and tomorrow is going to look just like today. Temperatures will be very, very similar. Tomorrow is just a rerun of today, basically. 85 our forecast tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 86 in some spots tomorrow afternoon. Now, the record is safe. We're not going to get to 92 tomorrow. Same idea Thursday. The record will not be in jeopardy. Friday, though, the record is certainly within reach. Notice all these records date back to the very hot summers and early falls of the 1930s and early 40s. That record high of 88 can be challenged on Friday. Talked about this on social media and on 21 News at 6. Just because the calendar says September, this heat is no less dangerous than if it were July. And one of those things that we see too much of every year is pets, children being left in cars when it's hot and sunny outside. And it's amazing how hot it can get. If the air temperature is 90, within 10 minutes of that car sitting in the sun, the interior temperature is 109. Within a half an hour, 124. It's amazing how hot it can get. And, it's one of those things that seems like common sense. Who in the world would do that? But people do it. So if you're watching this video, I think you're smart enough to never do something like that. But I always find these little factoids to be interesting nonetheless. All right, the air's pretty dry. Dew points mostly in the 50s. That'll be the case tomorrow as well. Dew points in the 50s. It's going to be a very warm day, but not humid at all. Notice the dew points up in western New York, 40s, Buffalo and Rochester. All right, as we head towards the end of the week, now these dew points aren't going to be in the 70s like we had last week. It's not going to be like Florida, but they will be elevated Thursday and into Friday with dew points mostly in the lower 60s. That's going to create some heat index values in the upper 90s or upper 80s, pushing close to 90 at the end of the week. It is going to be stinking hot outside. All right, let's take a look at the medium and longer range. First things first, let me shrink my browser down here so it's easier to see. The weekend, a cold front's heading our way. Now, this will be a moisture-starved front. This is Friday on the GFS model. Might be a subtle increase in clouds towards the end of the day. I think we're dry for high school football Friday evening. I think the GFS is a little too fast, sinking this front in late Friday into Friday night. If we're going to get a shower, it's probably just a real stray something with a somewhat unstable air mass in the front nearby on Saturday. GFS here, shows the front on Saturday, kind of like this. we've got a 20% chance of the forecast. You got outdoor plans Saturday. Don't adjust them. It's a real small chance of just a passing shower. If it rains, it'll be a couple minutes. That's about it. Sunday looks like a beautiful day. This is Sunday afternoon. High pressure up across Ontario is going to bring us dry air and, for a change, seasonable. Now, may be tempting to say cool Sunday with a high of 69, but that's about average for the final weekend of September. So just kind of back to average for Sunday. And boy, this is a dry pattern. I mean, early next week, the GFS tries to bring a front in here late Monday and Monday night. This is probably it's probably overdone, I should say. Not real wound up about the rain chances with that just yet. Interestingly, we'll be on the fringes of a pretty chilly air mass coming down into New England. Now, our temperatures are going to just retreat to average, but this is the GFS ensemble odds of temperatures getting into the 30s Sunday night into Monday morning. You can see very high odds of 30s showing up as far south as northern PA, up around Bradford, heading over towards Mansfield, PA, maybe up into the Poconos and the Catskills, heading up into New England. There'll be a lot of 30s Monday morning. Saranac Lake could be close to freezing or even a little below freezing up in upstate New York. We're not going to get that cool here. I think we can touch the upper 40s here Sunday night and probably Monday night as well. Let's track these air masses as we go through time here. That chilly air mass aimed at New England will just be on the fringes of it. You can see how much below average it'll get in New York and Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, places like that over the latter half of the weekend into early next week. That cool air mass, or somewhat cool air mass, will kind of stick around, it looks like, for a few days. I think we'll be close to average for a few days early next week. And then look what happens as we go into October. Here's October 1st. That cool or seasonable air starts to move away. And we're going to get right back into a summer-like pattern as we flip the calendar into October. There's a look at the 3rd and 4th and 5th day of the month. There's no sign of chill anywhere. So we could have a lot of days with highs in the 70s, maybe even close to 80, as we kick off the month of October. Interesting stuff there. Never-ending summer, it looks like, this year. It'll end at some point, just not before the second week of October. That's it for Weather Geeks. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.